Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the May 16th, 2024 meeting of the Planning Commission of the City of Calabasas. Call the meeting to order. And John, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Happy to.
That's a welcome back. I don't know.
Hand over your heart and begin. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Announcements and introductions. Commissioner Hazana.
Thank you. No announcements, nothing new. Glad to see everybody. Seems like a lively night.
Thank you. Commissioner Leah? Commissioner
I'm
Washburn?
good.
I have nothing. Commissioner,
No announcements. Nothing new, but
You.
glad to be back.
thank you. We're glad to have you back. Okay. Of oral communications, and this is for people wishing to address the commission on matters that are not on the agenda. Do we have, no, these are on agenda items. Do we have anyone?
I have no speaker cards for this.
Okay, so we will move on to consent items. Approval of the minutes of the meeting of May 2nd, and although I was not there, I do have a correction. I did not call the meeting to order. It
Not even
says chair
remotely, huh?
Not even remotely. I was too sick to do that.
I
So,
have a couple of other changes.
okay, go ahead.
On page 3, in the list of, well, I don't know how to do this, but in the list of design standards, I'm not sure what the difference is between massing and bulk and building articulation. Maybe they could be combined in one line. On the second bullet point says different standards for different zones. I think it means more like, I think we were more talking more about different styles for different zones, but so maybe you could say standards and styles or something, but it wasn't like different building standards. It was, anyway, and then on the window styles for retail and other ground level, we were really talking again more about glazing, or at least that's what the other cities had. So maybe you could say window styles and glazing. And then there was a discussion and a motion and a vote on providing ADU plans to be made available for free to Calabasas residents or applicants. And that, I mean, that was definitely discussed, and we voted on that, and that's not mentioned in here at all.
I believe that was in the prior meeting. There was direction.
Oh, that was in the prior meeting?
Yeah.
Got it, okay, all right. All right, then.
Okay. That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
And is there any problem with making those, not having been here, I can't comment. Any problem making those adjustments? Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes of May 2nd as revised?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? I'm going to recuse.
Aye.
Yeah.
Let me just add to that, and that is that even if you are not here at the meeting and you read the minutes, you can in fact vote.
True.
We might want to confirm that with our attorney, but I think that's the case.
My understanding is watch the video, like watched
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Then you can vote.
Yeah,
If you've watched the,
well, and I did, and so did you.
okay, yes, I did.
Some people abstain on other commissions and bodies, and it's just good to know at least at one point
You don't have to
in your
abstain.
service that as long as you did your homework, you're able to participate in the approval of the minutes.
That is true. That is true. So, Again, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. All right. Moving on, we have public hearing item number 2, which is a request for a site plan review to construct additions totaling 1,235.5 square feet to the rear of an existing 2-story single-family residence located at 4005 Declaration Avenue within the residential single-family zoning district. Jacqueline, do we have a presentation?
Thank you, Chair Fosberg, and good evening, Commissioners. First, I want to mention that this project was noticed to all property owners within 500 feet of the subject site. The notice was also posted on the city's website as well as throughout the city at all required locations. And staff did not receive any public correspondence regarding this project. So the project site is located north of Mulholland Highway within the residential single-family zoning district and the greater Molewood community. The site is surrounded to the north, south, east, and west by other single-family residences. Just a little bit more of a close-up view of the existing site. You can see in this image the roof outline of the main residence, the attached patio covers and trellises at the rear of the house, as well as accessory features including a pool, hardscape, and landscape. We have photos of the existing site. The first photo shows the residence as viewed from the street from Declaration Avenue looking west. The next we have the front entryway, and the next we have a photo of the rear of the residence. So since this is a split level house, this rear of house image here shows all 3 levels. This is the basement level right here, and the background is the first floor, which is the main level of the residence. And here you can see the second floor, which is above the basement level. The proposal includes demolition of existing patio covers and trellises at the rear of the house, as well as construction of additions totaling 1,235.5 square feet, which is 315 square feet to the basement level, 630.5 square feet to the first level, and 290 square feet to the second level to an existing split-level single-family residence. And Calabasas Municipal Code Section 17.62.020 requires this project to be reviewed by the Planning Commission because of the fact that the proposed addition totals more than 1,200 square feet. Here we have the proposed site plan, and I've cropped this plan a little bit for readability just to show the area of work only, since there's no work proposed in the area towards the rear property line. So on this plan, the additions are depicted in different colors. The basement addition here is shown in yellow per this legend. It has 315 square feet to the rear of the residence. Then we have the additions to the first floor, which are shown in gray. You can see there's a small area to the front of the house underneath the existing front porch, and the bulk of that addition is at the rear of the residence, 630.5 square feet in total. And then to the second floor, which is again above the basement level, that is 290 square feet. You can kind of see on this image that the second floor addition is set inward slightly, and that is 1 foot 6 inches, I believe, above the basement level, just to create a little bit of depth so that those 2 additions aren't right on top of each other. Both sides of the residence do have a legal non-conforming setback, which I'll discuss a little bit further on the next slide, and the additions are proposing to continue that existing non-conformity. The site is also currently legal non-conforming in regards to pervious surfaces. That non-conformity is not altered by the proposed project, since areas of addition are already within paved areas of the yard, as was shown in that previous photo of the rear yard. Other than those existing non-conforming conditions, the project complies with all other development standards for the residential single-family zone, including height, front and rear setbacks, and site coverage. This is just a little bit more of a close-up view of the side setback, since it was a little bit difficult to see that on the full site plan in the prior slide. So the diagonal black lines indicate areas of the existing nonconformity. See my cursor? Well, the diagonal black lines on the slide show the area of the existing nonconformity, and then the diagonal red lines show the areas of addition that are proposed to continue that existing nonconforming setback. The house was constructed in 1966 under LA County with 6-foot side setbacks, The addition is proposing to continue that on both the north and south side of the house, pursuant to the limitations of Calabasas Municipal Code, Section 17.72.020, subsection B1B, which allows for additions to continue an existing nonconformity by no more than 50% of the existing length and area of nonconformity, and it prohibits the addition from encroaching any further than the existing conditions, and the proposed addition is within those limits. Here we have the proposed basement floor plan. Because the home is split level, the other portion of the residence, which is the first floor, is shown here for consistency to depict the connection to that level, but it's grayed out to clarify that it's not the focus of this sheet. The area highlighted in yellow indicates the location of the 315 square foot addition at the rear of the basement level. And the area highlighted in orange indicates the legal nonconforming setback area. We have the proposed first floor plan. The yellow highlighted area is additions totaling 630.5 square feet. Again, you can see here that a small portion of the addition is at the front of the residence beneath the existing covered front porch, but the bulk of the addition is at the rear of the house. And part of the first floor addition at the rear of the house does continue that existing non-conforming 6-foot side setback, as shown highlighted in orange. The rest of the area of addition does comply with the 10-foot standard side setback requirement for the RS zoning district. And lastly, we have the proposed second floor plan. This is a 290 square foot addition to the second floor, highlighted in yellow in this image. And as you can see on the sheet a little bit better, it's set 1 foot 6 inches inward from the lower level exterior wall to create a little bit of separation between the basement level below and the upper level. Here we have the proposed elevations. The only change to the front elevation is the infill at the front porch, which is beneath the existing roof line. So here we have the front and rear elevations. All colors and materials are proposed to match the existing. The rear elevation shows new areas of addition, which extends the rear of the house out further towards the rear property line at the basement, first floor, and second floor level, in the areas that are currently occupied by patio covers and trellises, as were shown in the site photos on that previous slide. We have the north side elevation and south side elevation. Again, in these elevations, all colors and materials are to match the existing. The south side elevation was the primary area of focus for the ARP's comments, which I'll come back to after the next slide. So the ARP reviewed the proposed project on December 8th, 2023 and January 26th, 2024. The subject site is not within a designated scenic corridor, and there are no architectural design standards that are applicable to this property. The ARP found that the proposed project is compatible with the aesthetics of the surrounding neighborhood and recommended approval of the project to the Planning Commission with additional considerations that the applicant has revised the plans to incorporate. And those additional considerations were articulation at the roof eaves to create visual depth, which the applicant has since revised the plans to incorporate. I believe it was a rendering error in the previous version. New window treatments to match the existing windows, which has been done, and to create differentiation between the floors along the side walls of the residence. The ARP did also make comments about new roof tiles matching the existing roof tiles. At the second ARP meeting, where the panel members landed was that recycled tiles could be sourced to match the existing tiles over the areas of addition, because it's likely that the same tiles that the existing house has are no longer produced. And then if recycled tiles can't be sourced in a match found to match the existing residence's roof tiles, then the existing residence's roof would need to be replaced in order to make sure that the roof looks uniform. And that has been addressed within the draft conditions of approval, which are included within your packets. Let me just go back and talk about that articulation on the, cursor is here somewhere, on the south side elevation. Okay, there we go. Okay, you can see that as a result of the ARP's comments, there it goes again. As a result of the ARP's comments, they did propose a decorative trim between the first and second floors, and also that second floor addition is set back a little bit just to create a little bit of visual depth and some differentiation between the first and second floors. Here we have the home size comparison, and this information comes from the home comparison table within the technical appendix of the staff report, which looks at homes within a 300-foot radius of the subject site. And this data comes from the LA County Assessor and does not include garage square footages. Home sizes in the vicinity range from 1,828 square feet to 4,162 square feet, and lot sizes range from 7,311 square feet to 32,214 square feet. The average home size in the vicinity is 2,700 square feet, and the average lot size is 14,250 square feet. With the proposed project, the residence will be 4,181 square feet in total, and the lot size is 14,810 square feet. So it's just slightly above that range of existing home sizes by about 20 square feet. And surrounding homes are a mix of 1- and 2-story single-family residences. Listed here are the 6 required findings for a site plan review per section 17.62.020 of the Calabasas Municipal Code. The applicant's proposed findings for a site plan review are included in your packets as Exhibit B. So with that, staff concludes that the proposed project will not alter the existing land use of the subject site, which is an allowed use in the RS zoning district. Compliance with the applicable development standards is documented within the written staff report. The existing residence is considered legal nonconforming due to both side setbacks being only 6 feet, and due to the existing pervious surface conditions, and because of the fact that continuation of those 2 features is within the city's nonconforming ordinance, no variance permit is required for the proposed project. Homes in the neighborhood range in size from 1,828 square feet to 4,162 square feet. With the proposed additions, the residence will be 4,181 square feet. The ARP did recommend approval of the project. And lastly, the project is exempt from CEQA review pursuant to Section 15061, which is General Rural Exemption, and Section 15301, Existing Facilities of the California CEQA Guidelines. So staff recommends that the commission direct staff to prepare a resolution for approval or a resolution for denial of file number SPR-2023-011, inclusive of all required findings to support the resolution. And staff is prepared to assist the commission in developing the required findings for approval or denial. Thank you, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Excellent presentation. Before I open the public hearing, are there any questions of staff?
I think I've got the mic on. I've always wanted a basement. And California doesn't really allow for very many basements. And I'm guessing that the basement is at the back of the garage level. Is that the way that works?
That's correct. I believe it's referred to as a basement level because it's not exactly a true 3-story residence. So it's the split level, the basement, first floor, and then second floor above that basement level.
Thanks.
Commissioner Leah?
Yes, excuse me. I have a question on the minutes of the architecture review panel. Page 2, it says, staff pointed out a possible conflict with zoning standards applicable to extensions of non-conforming spaces and exterior walls. Could you please elucidate on that and tell me what the outcome was?
Yes, at the time that the project had gone to ARP, I believe that was at the first meeting, it wasn't yet clear what the existing residence's setbacks were or if they were going to fall within that non-conforming provision that I mentioned. So the applicant since revised the plans to show exactly what those dimensions are, exactly what the length of the existing portion of the house was, so that we could confirm that it does fall within that non-conforming exception, which allows them to continue at the existing setback by no more than 50% of the length. So that just wasn't clarified yet at the time it went to ARP.
Any other questions?
I have a couple.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I agree with Dennis. I was confused by calling the lowest level the basement because it's not a basement. And so it was confusing to me. Even ABC would be better. But maybe we could use the European method of just ground floor, first floor, and second floor. But a basement implies to me that it's somehow, there's a part of it that's underground, and none of this is underground, it's just split level. But anyway, so I don't know if we have a protocol or if it's just the applicant who comes up with the floor names.
Yeah, I think that, I believe that was submitted by them, but I think if it's an issue with the commission, it's definitely something that could be changed for their...
I wouldn't bother changing it, but it was confusing, I have to say. So slide 11, you show the front of the property as revised, you know, because they've closed up the front porch. And the only window I see is this little window on the right-hand side. I know there's a window to the right of there's a little bathroom window that you can't see from that. Oh, there it is. There's a bathroom window. But I just don't think, is that the only window in the front that people will see? Is just that little window on the second story? I mean, this is such a massive house.
Right, I don't believe that they're filling in any windows for the new addition. The owner is here and he can confirm that since it's his residence. I'm sure you're more familiar with it than I am, but I believe that the only thing they're changing to that front elevation is, you could see my cursor. Okay, here we go.
That's what they're filling in.
Right here,
So
yeah.
you won't see the windows in the front of the house.
I don't believe that
So-
there's a window right here that they're filling. It's just this existing archway is where they're putting the area of addition.
Oh, I see. I can't tell.
Yeah.
But, so then this house, it's just that big and there's no fenestration basically in the front except for one little window. And then there's a little bathroom window that you can't see.
Right, it's
Okay.
already designed that way.
And then the tiles, you mentioned that, so they're not going to find an exact match, you know, which I understand. And is it okay if they find something close, or did you say they have to replace everything?
So one of our ARP members at the first meeting, they had, as you just said, suggested that they wouldn't be able to find a match. And then one of our ARP members, who was present at the second meeting but wasn't present at the first meeting, had mentioned that for some of her projects, she's been able to source, I think she used a better term from it, but essentially recycled tiles from previous projects. So on houses similar to this one, when they choose to redo their houses and they get rid of all of their roof tiles, she's able to source for her projects basically recycled roof tiles, and that's what she utilizes to match on her addition. So
I mean,
she
it's
had-
hard because it's 60 years old or whatever, and it's been in the sun.
So she had mentioned that that may be possible, but if that's not possible, then we do have, let me find here, we do have a condition of approval that covers that.
So I just don't want them to
It's
have to
number-
replace the whole roof if they can just match as closely as possible.
I think that's the way we worded it, is to find a close match, which I'm not sure how close of a match is produced present day, but that's just what one of the ARP members had mentioned, that she typically sources recycled ones to match.
Okay, but that's in there, that they don't have to replace it all if they just have just find the closest possible.
Yeah, I'll look at the exact wording, but we can definitely, it's just in the
Okay.
draft conditions of
I just-
approval,
I
so we
just
can
want-
definitely
okay.
word that differently for the
All right.
resolution.
That's all.
Okay, Commissioner Mueller? No? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing, and I have 3 speaker cards. I assume, I see the applicant here. Are you here do you want to be heard? Do you want to speak, or are you here to answer questions? All 3 of you? Okay, well, does anybody have any questions of the applicant, the owner? This is a good sign. Were you going to, yes, no? Okay, then, do we have a,
I'll
do
move
we have
to,
a, mo-
yeah, I'll move
well,
to-
let me,
Oh,
hold
you
on,
have to
let me
close
close
Okay.
close the public hearing. Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
While we're on the discussion, though, I want to ask, I want to ask as to whether any of the neighbors, I know that we don't have any written correspondence and there's no speakers dealing with that, but was there any discussion with any of the neighbors regarding the extent of the improvements that are here?
We didn't receive any comments from the neighbors.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All right. All in favor of the motion to direct staff to prepare a resolution for approval, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations. That was easy.
They made it
Nice.
easy.
Yeah. Nice project. All right. Thank you very much. We are on to the director's report.
Good evening, Chair. Thank you. Couple things that I want to point out. Number one, the Calabasas Chamber of Commerce is holding their annual wine tasting event tomorrow night here at the Civic Center. I believe that starts at 5 o'clock, actually 5:30. You could check their website to see if tickets are still available, and I do believe that they also sell tickets at the door as well. Cadillac, that dealership, which was at one point Volvo, then Mini, then Volvo again, now Cadillac, has been under renovation for the past year or so, and they are very close to getting their final C of O. So they are just about ready to be fully open and in full swing. I anticipate that they'll be having a grand opening sometime next month. For those that may be tracking some of the previous projects that have been approved, the city council entered into a settlement agreement with the New Home Company regarding the West Village property back in January. And I just want to report to the commission that per the terms of that settlement agreement, the New Homes Company did resubmit an application for a revised single-family home project. So that will be moving forward to city council. Again, per the settlement agreement, it will go straight from planning review to city council within 90 days of when they filed that application. I just want to make sure that this commission is aware that that is moving forward. We will get the website updated as soon as we've had an opportunity to look through all the plans and the materials.
I have a question. Given that it's been quite a few months, if not actually years, since the original single-family project was approved and then overturned by, I guess, referendum, or at least our approval of that was, are there any consequences that we still have to resolve in dealing with the, I guess, I'm thinking of it as a reversion to the original proposal. It's pretty close to what they had proposed in the first place. Before the referendum, before the condominiums or apartments were proposed, and that was also then,
Without getting too far into the discussion, because it's not on the agenda, that was a different project with different entitlements that actually required a legislative act by the city. What they've filed for now is in compliance with the zoning code from an entitlement standpoint, and it does not have the same type of entitlements, site plan review, scenic corridor permits, stuff like that. So that's quasi-judicial, and it would be able to move forward with a slightly different path.
will any of that come to the commission?
No. Per the settlement agreement, the city has 90 days to process, and within that settlement agreement, there's no additional community forums, there's no story polls, there's no development review committee meeting, there's no planning commission. It just goes from submittal to council within 90 days.
Thank you.
The settlement agreement is posted on the website, again, on the project page for West Village. I also want to mention, just speaking of projects, our website has other current projects that are currently in the pipeline. So just to be aware, within the next year or so, we do anticipate that the following projects will be coming to the Planning Commission. There's a application for a new auto dealership where the old Sperling site was located, and that's a Kia auto dealership is the applicant. There's a medical office building proposed on Calabasas Road, just to the west of the Audi dealership. There's an application for a relatively small subdivision on Mulholland Highway, between Mulholland Highway and the Highlands. It's about a 12 to 15 unit subdivision project. That's called the Mulholland Gardens. And then, of course, there's the Cruzan project next to the City Hall, in the parking lot between City Hall and the Hilton Garden Inn. So all of these are still pending applications. At some point in time, we do anticipate that they'll be moving forward to Planning Commission and, again, along in the public hearing process. For the next meeting, we are anticipating having a meeting on June 6th, and at that meeting, we will be looking at the capital improvement project list, which is in the council's budget for the next fiscal year. It's a state mandate that the Planning Commission look at any acquisition of property or development or infrastructure, and then make a determination that that CIP is consistent with the city's general plan. There are also a couple of, there's one single-family home and potentially an addition that may be moving forward to June 6th as well. And that concludes my report.
May I ask something about that as well?
Sure.
I was notified of a League of California Cities LA County Division special meeting on housing development and affordable housing, and I wanted to personally attend. I was, in fact, one time president of the League of California Cities LA County Division, and the speaker lineup is really very impressive, and I think the information will be valuable. Do we have anybody going to that meeting from the city of Calabasas?
I am not aware of that meeting, so if you pass that information along to me,
I will do that.
Take a look.
I was hoping that there would be at least 5 members of the commission in the case that there had to be decisions in that case if I were to go to that meeting instead. Is that an issue?
This is on.
Is everyone
June
able
6th.
to make the meeting on June 6th?
I believe so.
Okay, I'll send you the information and we can chat about that.
okay.
Thanks.
All right. Do we have any reports from commissioners? Nope. Commissioner Leah?
I'd like to wish everyone a very happy and Memorial Day
That's coming up.
coming up.
It's coming up. Wow. The year is moving on very quickly.
I'll move to adjourn in the case no one else has any
Any
Second.
other? Okay,
reports or comments.
we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you all.